Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jenny here, and today I am going to share with you how you can get rid of split ends and how you can prevent getting them in the future. So split ends happens when the ends of your hair becomes dry, brittled, and fray, and this can be caused from a few different things like hair care techniques such as blow drying, straightening, curling, extreme weather conditions, or even chemicals that you're putting on your hair. Do I get split ends? Honestly, if I don't take extra good care of my ends, I sometimes do get split ends, but I've been doing a pretty good job at protecting my ends and keeping them healthy. Now for the big question, how to get rid of split ends. Unfortunately guys, there's absolutely no way you can get rid of a split end unless you cut or trim it off completely. Now I know that there are ways that you can temporarily seal your split ends by using oils or mask them with a hair mask, but honestly all that's doing is just hiding that split end. It is not getting rid of them. And the real question you want to ask yourself is it really worth it? Because that split end is already a very fragile hair, and just by brushing or combing your hair you can make it much worse. That split end can split further up your hair, causing more damage, and then you'll end up having to cut way more hair off than you wanted to. Especially if you're a person who really likes to style your hair or use hot tools on your hair, it is really not worth trying to preserve those split ends. You'll just make the damage worse. Now I'm going to share with you a few things that I do to my hair to make sure I give my ends the extra TLC it needs to keep it healthy and to prevent those split ends from happening. Trust me guys, I know the struggle of working so hard on your hair and then you end up getting a bunch of split ends. Now I might sound like a broken record with a few of these tips, but they are super important. Number one, detangling. So for me personally, I am completely against detangling a dry hair. It is a no-no for me. I only detangle my hair when it's soaking wet with heaps of conditioner. Or if I'm detangling on damp hair, I always make sure that I have some sort of cream that can provide me with a great amount of slip so I could get those knots and tangles out much easier without causing any harm to my hair. And of course, I always go in with my detangling brush, or you could use a wide tube comb, and I always start at the ends and work my way up so I don't cause any unnecessary damage. Avoid using hot water. If the temperature of the water is too hot, it will strip your hair of its natural and valuable oils, leaving it dry and brittle. So instead of using hot water, always go for lukewarm water or as cool as you can manage. Keeping your hair hydrated is also key to preventing split ends. Dryness can weaken your hair, especially at the ends, and this can even cause split ends. So I always make sure that I go in with a hair mask every week to keep my hair hydrated. I no longer use a regular towel on my hair because it tends to be very rough on my strands during that drying process, which can cause any split ends to get worse or even weaken my hair. While cotton t-shirts or microfiber towels are much softer and gentler on my strands, allowing my cuticles to stay nice and smooth, giving me that frizz-free appearance. Blot dry. Now I know I'm not the only one who's had that horrible habit of rubbing their hair dry. Frequent rubbing can cause hair breakage, and it can also damage your hair cuticles, resulting into split ends and frizziness. So instead of rubbing my hair dry, I blot dry it to avoid breakage and damage. Now this is a very common mistake we've all made before. Whenever we're doing a quick hairstyle and we're quickly re-moisturizing our hair, we tend to apply the product only to the base of our hair, which is never a good thing. We completely forget the ends of our hair. Now remember, our ends are the oldest part of our hair, and they need all the extra possible moisture they could get to prevent any breakage from happening. So no matter what I'm doing to my hair, I always make sure that I moisturize from roots to ends, and then I'll go over it with my brush to evenly distribute the product. If you're a person who really likes to use heat on your hair, my advice to you is to at least give your hair a break. You might want to lay off the heat for a bit. I have not put any heat on my hair for the past 4 years, and my hair has been doing an amazing job. That is probably one of the main reason that I really don't get split ends, because I'm not frying my hair all the time with a hot tool. Give your hair a break, guys. If you straighten your hair, let's just say 6 times a year, cut it down to half that, and always make sure that you're using heat protectant. And now for the big one, resisting the urge to pick at your split ends. Now, I was very guilty of doing this. I know we've all done this before, but it's actually really bad for our end. When you pick or pull a strand in two, you cause irreversible damage to the length of your hair shaft, which will leave your ends looking very thin and uneven. So what I'd like to do is just sit down and take the time out to go through the ends of my hair carefully in search of any split ends, and if I do find any, I'll just snip it off directly above where that split ends. And this could be very time consuming, but I really like doing it this way because it allows me to only trim off the damaged ends without having to cut off a bunch of healthy ends. But this is pretty much how I keep my ends healthy and avoid getting any split ends. I do this routine only on stretched hair at least 3 to 4 times between my trims, which are normally every 6 to 7 months if I think my ends are really